Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to crumble!
I'm Joshua Kemble, and welcome to Joshua Kemble's Livestream. I've been a freelance illustrator and graphic designer for over 20 years. I was an art director for 9 years. And when I'm not art directing and working on illustrations and graphic designs, I'm working on comic books and graphic novels, and that's usually what I do during my streams. And while conversations can go all over the place on this stream, from spicy and entertaining to goofy and silly, one thing stays consistent throughout every stream. I'll always be working on art. So pull up a chair, get your art supplies out, and get ready for an entertaining show that'll keep you company while you work on your own personal art projects. This is Joshua Kemble's Art Stream. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get the screen going. So today we have, it's bright and early in the morning. We have the windows open, the door open, just so that we have some fresh air in here with all the sickness we've been dealing with. I am going to be doing a lot of kids' book illustrations today. And the first is finishing up that spread that I did on episode... Let's see here. Episode 321. So strap in and here we go. We're going to work on some art today and just kind of shoot the breeze. So this is where we kind of left off. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I did. I added obviously I did a little bit of work off screen last night. And then I'm now basically toning different areas so that it has a little more contrast between the foreground and the middle ground. The only thing I'm going to try, I might kind of mess with here, is just to see if we can kind of create a little bit of... I'm just kind of curious if we can create like a little bit of light kind of on there. And I'm kind of curious if we can do that. So let's see here. Are we on the eraser tool? Let's go to our eraser tool and let's see if we can do, maybe for the eraser, let's see if we can do pencil. Let's try. Interesting. Okay. Let's try brush. And I think I might want to kind of add a little bit of lighting basically to it. I'm not sure. We're going to kind of mess with it. So let's see what we can do here. If I turn the opacity down and we kind of get in there with almost like it's under leaves or something. So anyhow, we're going to kind of mess with this. If this doesn't work, that's okay. We're on a time crunch with the deadline on this too. So, again, it might not be, might not work out, might work out. We'll just kind of have to see. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that adding this like lighting eraser stuff may not work, but we'll find out. I think if I do it, what I need to do is, okay, so let's try making another copy and let's see what we can do with like a... Let's try like an opacity that's like really low. Maybe we'll do like a dither brush in a dissolve brush in a mask and see how that works. So let's see here. that might look a little more correct for like what it is. But it'd be fun if it's like almost like it's under the tree light, like where we're having like some of the uh some of the effects that you'd have with like a tree, where it's like in little spots. I don't know if we're going to be able to get that kind of effect, but it'd be fun to do. Anyhow, it's bright and early. We're my wife and I are on a deadline for this book, so we're probably going to be working on a lot of this tonight, just to kind of like throughout the day, just to kind of like see how far we can get. I do like this being kind of minimal, so I don't particularly want this to have to be like I don't want to have effects like that are too much. But I like the idea of like almost like we have like light coming through the trees, and we'll see if that ends up working out. This is kind of an experimental thing that I'm going to do real quick just to kind of see what we can do. And I think if we kind of do this, it might work. But it's just a matter of like seeing if we can kind of work it out. So again, this is like a very brief thing. We're seeing if this works. Do we want this under the line or over the line? I like this over the line a little bit. Okay, I don't know if that's too much having like some of that effect, but I kind of like it. Okay, let's try seeing if that works. Again, like we're just doing experiments here, but let's see if that works for the tree as well, where we can add a little bit of extra to it. Just a little bit of splotchiness. And then let's see if maybe adding that same kind of effect to the ground, so that we have like a little bit more of the kind of trees coming through sort of look to it. I can't tell if this is working here. Trying to kind of give it like a specific look. Is this even working? It's like hard to even see if it's kind of going through there. I think it is. It's just very subtle. So we'll see if this works. If that ends up being an improvement, or it actually ends up being kind of a detriment. I feel like it's a bit of a detriment actually, because I kind of liked it better flat. Like looking at it, I mean, it was like a worthy experiment, but looking at it, it's like I kind of feel like I liked this better. Actually, never mind. Let's see. Do we like this or this? I kind of like that. Now let's see with the trees. Do we like this or this? Hmm. I think I like I think I actually like it, weirdly enough. So I think I might kind of stick with that for the effect, just to kind of have a little bit of light in there as well. Maybe we'll go back into here. We might have overdone it with the trees a little bit. So maybe we'll go back in and see what we can do with kind of toning back some of these areas, especially the areas where I think like the areas where there's an edge, it'd be good to have it a little more subtle. Cool. And then I think I like the idea of maybe we go back to this layer. We actually select it. And then I like the idea of maybe we add just a little bit of shadow, a little bit of shadow to the ground, just a little bit. So let's see if we can do that. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope you're having a good morning. I know it's like awfully early, uh, considering, you know. We're just going to kind of make some little areas that can be shadows. And then maybe we can do, go to our layer and do multiply. Just to kind of really highlight the fact that this is a, that might be a little too much. Just to highlight the fact that this is like a somewhat shadowy area. So I like that. I like the idea of it. Maybe it gets darker as it kind of gets closer to the tree. And maybe this might get a little darker here. As it gets further away. And then I think it might be good other than that, just to kind of add a little bit of shadow to it so that it's like not totally crazy. Just kind of playing, might overdo it, who knows. Put the opacity up a little bit. I think I'm kind of digging how this is starting to look actually. So I want to see if maybe we want to mask that. We'll see. We're just playing at this point with like some different ideas. But I kind of think let's see it with the mask. I kind of liked it without the mask because that kind of brings everything together. So let's try that for now. Let's get it a little less here because I kind of think we're gonna have our figure once we get our animal in there. He's gonna be kind of in there. So, okay. Let's save it. Let's call it, and then let's just add a little texture to it. We're going to add a texture that I had on the other thing. So I'm not revealing too much about the book. I'll go ahead and go back to my main thing, and we'll go ahead and open that. And all we have to do now is like kind of finish up our animals. So let me get, there's like a texture kind of thing that I had on the other page, which might be here. Yep. Okay. So we have a texture here, a kind of subtle texture that we will bring over. And that should give it like a specific kind of look. Let's see if we get rid of our mask. And let's move the texture to where it's centered. And oh, you guys should probably see this. You might want to actually see it now. So right now we have like a texture. I wonder if we can go kind of more extreme with it. I think we actually can. So I'm just adding a texture to kind of make it look a little more hand done. I'm not sure if I'm liking that, so I want it to be a little more subtle. But let's check it out with the texture and without. So if I look at it with the texture, it's kind of there. Let's kind of move some of this. Maybe some of that can be a little higher. So with the texture, it's kind of like this. Let's see it with and without. I kind of like it with because it gives it more of a kind of hand-done look. Let's go just a little bit more subtle with it. So we've got like a subtle texture on there with, without. And I think maybe like a little less subtle. And then we'll save. And now I think we're in a good space where we can actually start working on this just a little bit. Might be nice to have like a sense of light too. Let's play with that. Let's do like a light on the trees. So we'll go back to our flat layer. And I like the idea of, I don't know, we're kind of playing right now. We're playing before we get our animals and stuff. We're playing with seeing what we can do here. So we've got our dissolve brush pulled up. And maybe if I establish just a little bit more clearly the light that's kind of coming from that area. And then maybe we just do like a slight bit of, I'm wondering if it should be like here, here, here. And maybe we'll do just a little bit. Let's see if this is our light. Okay. Just a little bit more light kind of in the area as well. Just to like see how far we can get with some of this light. And now we can kind of mess with the transparencies to see if that works. maybe we just turn that down a little bit so that it just adds a little bit more. I might be overdoing it here. And then I think if we just sort of tone it down just a little bit more, tone it back a little bit, and then maybe we can tone this down just a little bit, and then this, what is this? This down. Well, I kind of like that, actually. That's good. And then I want to kind of mess with, maybe we turn this transparency down just a little bit more. So there's just a tiny bit more going on there. Cool. I'm kind of happy with that. I kind of like the look of that. I think it's starting to look like nicely textured and stuff like that. We got our golf course, we got our figures ready to go, and now we can kind of go into our animal flats. There's another thing I need to do off screen real quick, just to like, because I don't want to give away the title or anything like that of this book. So let's go ahead and pull that in. I just want to see Hattie, our character from a previous thing. There's a lot of little layers in here, but it's kind of like a, I don't know, it's like an experimental fun way to work, and I like it. Okay, I'm going to copy just a JPEG of Hattie just so we can kind of see. So we're going to have Hattie here. That's going to be giving us like a lot of details of like what we need to do here. So I've got my animal line work. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. And we're going to go ahead and do our shading first. So let's do our animal flats. For our animal, I think we'll do here, we'll do like our light area. So give Hattie a little bit of light. And let's get in there with the dissolve brush. So we're going to get in there and add a little bit of light. That might have been a little too much. Let's go a little bit less extreme for that lighting. So we're going to have just like subtle lighting hitting there. Trying to do the eraser, but it's like gigantic because we were working with like a big space. Why isn't that? What is going on here? Oh, it's in brush mode. That's why, and opacity's down. So we'll turn it. This should still be the eraser. So let's just do general. What the heck? Oh, I see what we did. I'm dumb. Okay. We accidentally did that on the flat layer. That explains what was going on there. Still a little bit tired from yesterday. Still recuperating from being sick, but we're on a deadline. So my wife and I are going to rock and roll this business. Get our artwork done because we hit our deadlines. I feel like that's too dark. I mean, too light. Let's do like one tone. Yeah, there we go. That's a little more subtle. So again, it's going to kind of get in there. Now we're good. Okay. And right now, those lines that you're seeing on here are temporary lines that I'm eventually going to go over. But right now, we're just kind of zooming in and giving just a little bit of texture. We want this to have kind of like a little golden book feel to it. So And I think Hattie's going to have just a little bit more. Okay. And now we're going to do our shadow, which we'll do like pretty subtle too. Just get some shadow in there. And it's going to get real dark as she gets toward the ground. And again, we're going to go over this line art that you're seeing too. But it's almost like shading with a pencil, you know, where cool. I think that'll do. I think I like that a lot. I think we're gonna do now our light area of. I think we can turn off our animal line work for now. And we're gonna just do our light area of the light on the main character. She's gonna get a little bit lighter. So that's going to be here. And that'll be just a little bit light there. And a little bit of light as it kind of gets toward the light. And then similarly, we're going to do just a mild bit darker. And a mild bit darker. And again, we're just using this dissolve brush because it's awesome for that like old retro look. And then we're going to do, let's see, I want to have white there. White is going to be on the eye, so we'll go to our animal flats, pick the eye. Again, this is a little bit outside of the box from what people may be used to seeing from my stuff, but it's actually you know, I work in a variety of styles, especially when I was an art director, where I would, you know, switch styles all the time. And so a lot of people may not, you know, a lot of people who are stuck in one particular style might find that really weird, you know. Um, but it's not all that strange, you know. It's actually like a pretty normal thing to kind of have a variety of styles that you work in. So right now, and again, like this is also adapting for my wife, you know, who's doing this book with me. The one thing I wish is, and I think we'll just lighten these up a little bit. I like the light areas being just a tiny bit lighter. Now that I'm seeing it from a distance. And then similarly, like maybe we can have these be just a little bit, let's punch up the contrast just a little bit. And I'm using hue saturation to do a lot of the color choices and stuff like that. Okay. There we go. We got Hattie looking pretty good from a distance. We're going to end up doing, so that's our rendering. Now we got to do these bears. The bears are pretty free to go. The one thing, oh, I just realized I'm like describing all this and you guys can't see it. Sorry about that. So we got Hattie kind of rendered. Now we need the bears. I want to look up real quick black bears. Black bear illustration to see how people deal with the fact that they're black. Because like that can be like a real challenge. I almost want to look up black bear cartoon. Okay, that's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this here. That just gives us an idea of like the color that we should use for the black bears. So I do think seeing that, I'm like, okay, I think with these black bears, what do we got here? Are we on our animal flats? I think these black bears, their noses could be awfully like a bit more saturated. We can get a little bit more saturated and a little more peach. And then I like that mid tone being more of a gray rather than a blue. I wanted to get like a little creative with it, but I think that might be almost like pulling away from it. So I want a nice mid tone here. And I think that'll do for our mid tone. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our line work. And then similarly, like we'll get in there with these black bears and we'll have a light area and a dark area. So for the light, pretty easy peasy. We'll do a little bit of this and we'll see. By the way, I should be labeling this. So let's call this, let's double check here. Is the right layer? Okay, yeah. So we'll call this animal renders. Uh, and I just realized like my StreamYard is off. Paul said, "Good morning, good sir. Where's the purple Teletubby?" Oh my gosh, this is a golf course. Is this a horror story, Josh? It's just like the client does a lot of books based on golf and hired my wife and wanted a specific look that we figured we can collaborate pretty effectively to get. So that's kind of where we went. Philip said, "Hey, good morning. How's it going, Philip? How are you doing, buddy? I hope all is well." Philip, now that I like whenever I see your name, I am instantly going to be thinking of bread because we have our bread connection. This might be too light, but we'll see. It's going to look a little weird because we're really zoomed in. So we're seeing like every pixel, you know? And when you're working with this like dither brush, or sorry, dissolve brush, it's which creates like a little dithering pattern. It can create that but I might have gone a little too light with the renders here. So let's find out. Now let's turn off the line art and let's see. Yeah, it kind of looks like slapped on there. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I'm liking that tone. But I think it needs to be a little bit darker. And maybe this can be a little more saturated, like a purple or something. Let's see that from a distance. Yeah, I think maybe a little lighter. Uh, Philip said, "LOL, Josh. Coincidentally, I've made a loaf of bread today. Nice. I might have to do the same thing. I might have to make a loaf of bread." By the way, you guys, if you're watching this, if you could hit that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. I'm only saying it because I often will forget to ask. And if you want something, sometimes good to ask. That helps the show get to new viewers and stuff like that. I'll be doing streams on and off all day today. I am planning on doing that. So let's see our animal flats. Now, I got to give credit. Like, my wife did the pencils for this, and they look amazing. They're so cute. Like, the way these bears are done is just super, super adorable. Okay, let's continue, and we can always adjust later if I don't like the tone, you know. So we're gonna have our bear. You know, I kind of don't know if I want a lot of back. I kind of want a really clear light source. So I think maybe on the arm, but I kind of want their back to actually probably be more rendered with shadow.
Black is difficult.
And we're getting there. Yeah, I had to look it up just to see like how other people have handled bears. And I also like I was gonna make them purple, but then they look kind of just weird and purple. Philip said, Paul said, my wife is having to deal with work today. She's taking people to Nova Scotia. We had to look it up. It's Labor Day there. Wow. Where's Nova Scotia? Or talking to people in Nova Scotia? I thought you said taking people to Nova Scotia. That would be a cool job. Like, sorry guys, I got to take you to Nova Scotia. But no, talking to people in Nova Scotia. See how easy it is to just like totally misinterpret with chat? Philip said, I was just about to say, you celebrate Labor Day. We celebrate Labor Day. You guys celebrate Labor Day too? Nice. You know what I get to do this Labor Day? Labor. Because I'm an artist, man. That's what we do. We don't have Labor Day. That's for back when I had a day job as an art director. None of this time off nonsense. All right. I don't think we're going to go quite black with the bear, but I do kind of think we'll do fairly black. And then I think the line art on them might be a little brighter. So now we're going to kind of get into the rendering. The way I said rendering there was really funny. The river blah. You know, the render. And again, like all of this stuff is like a bit of an experiment. And the fun thing with working in different styles, you know, is you can kind of feel a little less locked into what you're doing. I know this looks wacky from up close, but you know when we see it from far away, you'll see how it's kind of starting to come together with this weird dithering style. But again, we're gonna do maybe our bear has a little bit there. We have a really funny little chihuahua doing weird stuff that chihuahuas do. Yeah, it's been an interesting weekend. My wife and I have both been sick for like what feels like ever. And so both of us are a little behind on our deadline, not just for this book, but on my other book as well. But it's a good problem to have. I mean, it's nice to have work. And I think, I mean, we'll have to get there when we get there, but I think what we're going to end up doing is a lot of this line art is going to be, I think, totally dark. Okay. So now we got our bears kind of worked out a little bit. And they're starting to look like black bears. We might even go black with like a really small. No, you know what? We won't. I was gonna say like we might go all the way black, but I think because they're in the distance too, it's gonna look more like there's light hitting them if it doesn't go full black. I gotta fight the cartoonist in me that wants to just go 100% black because black and white for life with a four, the number four. I should get that like tattooed on my shoulder. B and W for life. That's right. So anyhow, hopefully you guys are having a good Labor Day. I didn't know Canada had a Labor Day. I am learning new things every day. Philip, between you and Christopher, I have learned more about Canada than I probably ever knew. Which is funny because, like, actually, one of my best friends growing up was Canadian. He was a dual citizen, which I guess is not recognized in the US, but is recognized in Canada. So what you can do basically, if you're a Canadian, is apply for citizenship in the US, right? And then you won't be recognized as a Canadian citizen in the US, but in Canada you will be. One thing I didn't think about though, that I didn't realize is kind of a pain in the butt about having dual citizenship. And I didn't even do, I don't know why. Like I'm way too old to be confused about this like regular life stuff. One thing I learned was a lot of dual citizens, like you still have to pay taxes, like in your country of origin. So, like, if you're a dual citizen, you're still paying taxes in like two countries, which is insane. That's just, that's brutal to have to pay two countries worth of taxes. It seems like there should be, something where, you know, you just pay taxes in the country that you made the money in or something, but I don't know. I heard from someone, maybe they were just fooling me or something, but that they have to pay dual citizenship taxes, which is nuts. Okay, we're almost done with our bare flats. Let's turn off our line layer. It's a very like kind of meticulous, long way of working, but it's kind of fun. I actually really enjoy coloring in multiple styles. It is fun to do. And we're going to have just a little bit of rendering on the toesies. And now we'll do just a little bit of highlight on this wheelie thing. Wheelie bop. That's what this is officially called too, I think. Mike can attest to this. It's called a wheel bop. A wheel bop. And we're going to get our renders done here. And I think like maybe we'll just go like one notch lighter. Look at that. Look at those bears. Look at those bears. Paul said, I'm working on page 100. Good job. Good job, buddy. Nicely done. And he said, I got to take a break and go to the store. Philip said Nova Scotia is the east coast, just south of Newfoundland. Nice. There's a terrier called a Newfoundland Terrier, isn't there? A dog that's from Newfoundland, I think. Philip said, "Oh wow, sorry." Christopher said, "All of the women in Canada go into labor today." Nice, nice. All the women that Christopher's made go into labor because Christopher is a guy who gets around, huh? No, I don't know. I was trying for a joke there. I think it failed pretty heavily. Um, Philip said, I didn't know that. I have a good friend of mine that married an American and she moved down there. I'll have to ask about the taxes. Now, I don't know if that's Canada, but I know the person I heard it from was Swedish. So they were like a dual citizen of the US and Sweden. And so every dollar they make in the US, they have to pay in Sweden, which is insanity, like taxes. And Sweden taxes like high. So it was kind of like one of those, wow, I never even thought of that. I don't know about the US because again, like I don't know. I don't know how that works with Canada and the US. I don't know. You'll have to tell me what your friend says. Or there's always a chance that they were lying, the person who was telling me that. They could have been a dirty, rotten liar. Okay. What do we got? We got some rad little things going on with our bears. Starting to get them there. This is like the weird. It is a weird method of working though. This kind of style is just like a really bizarre thing because when you're working up close, it really looks just insane. Like it looks like a bunch of little speckles. But again, it's like kind of simulating. The look we want is that like old little golden book look. And a lot of that stuff really had that like speckly vibe to it. Speckle vibes. Believe somebody's tea is ready. I'm hearing the kettle. We're just going to do some light here. Some lighting. And then we'll do some shading because this is a little bit. Let's see, shading just a little bit darker. Christopher said it's called virility, Josh. Nice. Nice. They don't call him the Runciman for nothing. What do we got? We got Philip saying those bears are really cute. I like the texture effect on them. I love the drawing that my beautiful, amazing, talented wife did. It doesn't hurt that she is both beautiful, talented, and amazing. That's my Sid. I also put arsenic in your coffee every morning. I kind of like it. It adds like a little bit of a builds a little community. Yeah, adds a little joy to it. I don't know what you gain now putting arsenic in my coffee, honey, because like back when I was an art director, I had like good life insurance. You could have really profited from an arsenic poisoning. Now it's like you get nothing. You get nothing. It's like dead silence. She's like, I didn't consider that. She'll be serving me divorce papers in like a week. Okay, so what do we got here? We have this going. We got our little bear business, our bear necessities. And now we just have like one, like the light. I'm kind of liking how this is looking, actually. It's working out. It's funny, this kind of method of work, though, is very much like you just kind of follow what you know, and you kind of have to trust the process through it. Because, like I said, it looks really abstract when you first start working in this method. I actually learned this method from Bob Stack, the illustrator for like the New Yorker. And I thought it was so cool that I used to have an assignment that I give my classes that was based on him. I didn't actually learn it from him. I just learned it from watching.
A little bit like he taught you.
Yeah, I don't want to misrepresent that. I apologize. Not that I met him in person or anything. Okay, so now we're going to do our animal lines, and then we'll be done. So how are you guys doing, and what are you working on? It sounded like Paul was rocking page 100, which is huge, Paul. That's amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, so we're going to do dark lines. And I just want to see, okay. Okay. So we're going to do our dark brown lines. And this, now we need to get out of the dissolve brush and just go to our ultimate pencil. And this should have worked. Okay, there it is. I want it a little darker than that. Christopher said Lori is joining me on stream for her birthday. Aw, happy birthday to Lori. When are you guys streaming? Are you streaming at 11? And we're just going to get his little toes. We're just getting like mild little details here. We don't want to pull all the line art. But I do want to capture some of the really cute gestures that my wife had put in with her beautiful drawing.
Good.
And then we just need black for, okay, it's black eyebrows, black whiskers.
Hey, can I be annoying for a second?
Sure.
I think that is a little too much noise.
Don't worry. You're just seeing it from too close up.
Oh.
Yeah. Mai was like, that's too speckly. I'm like, yeah, it's not going to look like that. It'll look more like, let's see, if I do 100, it'll be something like that. Don't worry. Just trust it. It's going to look like this.
Yeah. That's why I was like, can I be annoying? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife was like a little worried, but she was only viewing it from zoomed in and was like, oh, that looks too speckly. And it's like, no, it always looks too speckly at first. It's kind of this method. And the cool thing is in print, this looks like sharp as hell because those are just pixels. So it literally comes out like dots, which is very cool. Very hip.
Hip to the jive.
Hip to the jive. Are you guys catching my jive flow? We got our mouth there. And then we're going to have just our little whiskers. And now let's see what it looks like without the line art. And would you look at that? We got a cute little groundhog who's chilling there.
Gopher.
Or gopher, not groundhog. Whatever. It's all the same.
No, it's not.
Okay, now that's cool. So we have consistency. It's like being consistently made. So now we have that done. And then all we have to do is finish the bears.
Can I be annoying again?
Sure. What's that?
Just one thing. The holes, they look good, but can you add a little bit of, they're not perfect holes,
Sure.
just a little like
Imperfections.
or something, just tiny little slights in the shapes.
Yeah, no problem.
I love you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's all. I'll go away now.
So my wife is micromanaging my art. I'm kidding. Okay. So let's see here. She made a good point. Those holes look a little too clean. So we're gonna do. You know what? We'll get to that in a second. Let's get we'll do the holes as the last thing. The one thing that I want to do now is Christopher said, I'm down with your bad sounds. Awesome. And Christopher said 2 p.m. Eastern time or 11 a.m. Pacific. That's awesome. So I'll have to tune in at 11. Okay. Let's get into our line work here. Let's find out what line work is going to work best for our bears. I think it should be probably be lighter. So we'll see if that works. And once we finish the bears, note to self, I think my wife made a good point about the, yeah, I don't know if that's going to be light enough. So let's try like, almost like really light. Let's see what that looks like. Hey, look at that. That actually works. Okay. Let's get there with the line art. And these are just real mild, like almost like not even going to notice lines. And we're just popping in some details. And I think there's a little bit of like toe line there, and this goes in a little bit. So let's try that. And look at that. It looks like super detailed, even though it's not. So if we see that at about 100%, I think that's going to work really well. Okay. So we have our black line art, and then we'll go in with our brown line art for, or possibly other line art, but I'm guessing we'll just do like a brown line for the mouth details and stuff like that. And then we'll have lines as well for our other thing. But this is just kind of finding those little spots. And we're just finding like little moments. And I think that'll work. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay. So we're getting closer, guys. We're getting closer, but there's still a bit to go. think we'll do our animal lines here. And again, we're just trying to find like the minimum lines, because like I don't want the exterior lines. It's supposed to be kind of more shape based. And we have like one more here, one more here. And I think there's one little line here for his tail. Okay, I think we've finished our bear lines. Let's see what those look like. Actually, I think those work really well. Now we just need our bear mouths. So I want those to be like a dark brown. Well, let's find our animal line art and let's see. And let's see if that works. From a distance, I think that works. Okay, animal line work. Here we go. And similarly, like our little animal lines here, I think in this case, still going to do a little line just so it's consistent. And I don't know if I actually like that. I thought it would be like nice to have like a little bit of consistency there. Oh, now I'm wondering. There we go. I think that works a little better. So now we just have to do our little details on our golf clubs. Let's do those first. Details on the golf clubs are going to be really dark. I think we'll just do across the board the same dark details. And then similarly, we'll do okay, some of those details on the golf clubs. And now we just have one thing left to do, which is going to be the details on the on these little guys. So I think what we'll do is a dark red for this one. And let's get those little details in there. So the dark red is going to come here. Oh, it needs to be even darker. Dark red's going to come here. It's going to go here. And I think that's it for the dark red. Maybe like here. And now we need a dark blue, which we'll have right here and right here. And right here. And I think that'll do it for that. Let's see. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. Looks very detailed. Look how unbelievably detailed that looks, even though it's not. That's half the trick. And then we have our last bit, which is our dark blue. And let's see our animal line work again. And I think our dark blue is just going to have a thing here, as well as a thing here and here. And a bit of a thing there. And a thing there. And then I think we're good. Other than now I want to add just a little bit of detail to this container thing. So we're going to just do our little details. And then I think that'll do it. I think that's going to cover it. So if I turn this off, now we have this like lovely, somewhat detailed illustration of bears. And then the one thing we have to do is now go in there and let's try to modify. If I turn off this layer and this layer, that should give us the original. So let's modify these a little bit to where they're a little more messed up and less kind of perfect circles. So I don't know why this just opened. I don't want that open. So now we want to modify this to where it's a little less kind of perfect. And we'll go back to our soft round. We'll put it at dissolve. And I think if we create our own little layer here, this might give us a little bit more wiggle room to kind of blow out those otherwise like kind of perfect lines. Let's try like getting just a little bit of those blown out. What is going on with that sharp business? There's something sharp in there. Oh, okay. I see a little bit of what's happening here too. Where that needs to be kind of erased there too. So that's part of what was going on there. Was there's like these kind of perfect circular lines. I kind of need to get rid of those. Just some little artifacts from the selection. And then I think we'll get through that. And I think we'll do just another one. Okay, we'll do another one real quick. Another one will be here. Where was it? Okay, I think this is it. Yep. And I want to do like the lighter brown. And we'll just do just a little bit here. Just to kind of blast these out a little bit so they're not like perfect little holes. And then similarly, like here, we can kind of do the lightest part. And we'll do a little bit of the midtones. And let me do real quick. I'm going to do a little bit of this. We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. And let's do another one of these with this. I do kind of like the idea of this getting a little more blown out. So, oh wait, that was on the wrong layer. Let's try this up here. Okay. Come on. Some sort of thing got hit that I wasn't meaning to. Oh, we got to go back here and get rid of that line thing. There's been like a line there. I think we're almost there. We just have to do... Now we have to do... Now I think we can do just a little bit more to kind of de-perfect these a little bit. What is going on? Is this even working? Maybe there's something over it. And then we can just turn down a little bit. And I think one last thing I want to do, let's turn off all of this. And let's do one last thing, which can be, let's get that effect off there too. One last thing, which might help a little bit, which will be to go here. Expand it a little bit by like 2 pixels. And then I think if we can get these going, and let me see if I can get, let's get this back to a normal brush. Maybe we do. Maybe we actually delete that, and then we just get in there with a normal brush. That could be a little bit harder. Let's do. Getting there, guys. Now let's see. Did I like that? Maybe the render needs to change a little bit. Let's go back to our dissolve brush. Like a lower opacity. There we go. Now we're starting to get there. Okay. I think that's going to do it. So we'll get our things turned here again. Turn this here. Don't think we needed that one or that one. I think we needed this one. Boom. All right. I think we are good to go. Christopher said, that's looking great. Thank you. And he said, you two are a great team. Thank you. We try to be. Let's try kind of like making the opacity a little lower here. Maybe this opacity goes a little bit lower. I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to do it. So we'll put the texture back on, and I think we're good to go. So we will call that a day, and I'm going to go ahead and call that a stream for now. I'll be back on to do flat colors for the next spread once it's penciled and sent to me. And yeah, so if you guys haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notifications when we're about to go live. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate you all. At 11 o'clock p.m. Pacific, make sure you guys check out Christopher Runtsman's stream. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Goodbye.